It was synchronicity. Our stars collided at just the right time, a couple of times, and didn't go through the traditional channels, and we don't have to because we're neighbors. Feels really good. I have not been here since Braden left, and it's the first time coming back. It feels really good to come back. My wife Martha is with me, who rarely has an opportunity. I think she just wanted to see what I'm doing. She hasn't come to see the events for a while, and she wanted to just come and check it out. So I want to thank each of you for being here. I know there's a lot going on, a lot you could be doing. I want to thank our streaming audience. What did you call it?
Cyber Sanctuary.
Cyber Sanctuary. I like that. So I'm going to stand on the floor, not up here. You guys are okay with that, right?
Yeah.
I don't like stuff between me and you when we're having this conversation. And I have, from this moment, I have 30 minutes now. Is that right?
Yeah. Whatever you want. You're good.
30 minutes. 30 minutes. Like I said, 30 minutes. I want to honor the protocols. I want to talk to you today about human divinity. And that's what it says on the program. So I have to talk about human divinity. I'm going to do it a little bit differently. If I were doing this with a group of scientists, we would talk about human biology, we would talk about neurons, DNA, cell membranes. I want to do something different with you to honor you in the time that we have together. Because there's something inside of you that cannot be separated from every event that you're seeing happening in the world around you. And that brings tremendous relevance to this conversation. There's something inside of you that is rarely spoken about in mainstream. We're not teaching our kids. It is so ancient. It is so rare. It is so beautiful. It is so precious that nations will go to war with nations to keep you distracted from knowing what this is within you. Economies will be collapsed. Pandemics will be unleashed. Climate will be engineered. All as diversions, because what you hold inside of you is so rare and precious that it is the essence of your very existence in this world. And that something is human divinity. So let's define divinity right off the bat. Many people link it with religion. And I can see why, because there's schools of divinity that make that connection. The definition of divinity, however, has nothing to do with religion. And you may be surprised if you haven't heard this. The definition is the ability to transcend perceived limitations. And that's it. The ability to transcend means to become more than. Perceived, listen to this, perceived limitations, you and I are probably living limits in our lives that aren't even real. There are limits that have been imposed upon us or that we have been indoctrinated to accept by our families, well-intentioned families, friends, our culture, our community, our society, science, obsolete science, religion, all tell us who we are and what it is that we can and cannot do. And I want to tell you, if we have longer, the new discoveries and the best science of the modern world are blowing the doors off of those limits. But I'm not going to talk to you about that part today. I'm going to do this from a little bit different perspective. And to begin, I'm going to go back to 1946. Something happened in 1946. Is that a long time ago? For some of you, it's before you came into this world. But it's relevant to what's happening right now. 1946, in an area known as Qumran in the Dead Sea of Israel. A series of caves were discovered. Maybe you've talked about these in some of the programs here. The Dead Sea Scrolls were discovered. How many have heard of the Dead Sea Scrolls? Okay. There were 11 caves. Actually, they're still finding 2023. They found additional documents last year. They're still finding these things. 11 caves were discovered, and in those caves were vases about 2.5 to 3 feet tall that were sealed, and they contained the oldest records of the Old Testament the oldest unedited records of the Old Testament, before the church was able to condense and rearrange those documents. Just to come full circle, it was in 1945, the oldest records of the New Testament had been found in Egypt, a little village called Nag Hammadi. And so you've probably heard of the Nag Hammadi library that contains those. Here's what it's really interesting. Those documents were discovered, Dead Sea Scrolls, 1946 and on into 1947. They were not allowed to be released to the public until 1991, 45 years.